Oh, hi. Here we are at our final look at Psalm 23, a psalm that so many people have as their favorite. And I've been reading it out of my Revised Standard Translation, and I'm going to read the whole psalm and then we're going to finish it up today. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the last session, we were talking about this idea of the Good Shepherd and how he gives us so many blessings that our cup overflows. And he says, I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He's willing to give his life for us, and did give his life for us. And we compared that with the thief, the enemy, whose only purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. So they are totally different shepherds, if you will. And the Good Shepherd, Jesus, is the shepherd that's described here in Psalm 23. There are blessings in all this attention and love that the shepherd shows to the sheep. So now we're down to the last verse, which is, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. The whole psalm is praise, really, to this perfect shepherd. And it's kind of summed up by David in these last few verses as he says, we have the privileged position of being in the flock of the best shepherd ever. And no matter what comes along, we can be sure, he'll say, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. He's absolutely certain of that. So the reason is because if you know the shepherd, you know that you don't have to worry about anything. That goodness is going to be yours because you know you have a good shepherd. So the trust is there that surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. Some versions say goodness and love instead of mercy. God is love. God is mercy. I mean, his mercy shows us his love. But I don't think we use the word mercy that often in our everyday language, where love, that kind of, we connect with that a lot faster and a lot better. But surely goodness and love shall follow me all the days of my life. And that doesn't mean earthly love. It really means the love of the Lord, the love we have for each other, and just a loving, good experience, the joy of your life. David is really making a pretty bold statement here. He is talking with supreme confidence, that he's going to have this goodness and mercy shall follow him. He doesn't even have to go in search of it. These things are going to be there. That serenity, that peace will just follow right along, right after when he follows the shepherd, the good things will follow him. So with that confidence, he also says, notice that he's saying, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me, means he's not doing anything to go get them. That's the shepherd that does that. It's Jesus that prepares the way for us. It's God who abundantly blesses us. We don't deserve it. We don't do anything really that makes us worthy of deserving all of that. But the shepherd is just so wonderful, so full of love, so full of mercy, that he give these things to us anyway, even though we don't deserve them. And so surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. It's like they catch up all the time with me because God wants to bless me in such beautiful ways. And you wonder then too, the other side of this coin, I think, is, do people see that about me? do other people see how blessed I am and that I give praise to God for those blessings? Do they see that I have a legacy of receiving goodness and mercy and love, and so I give mercy and goodness and love? I think that's part of being a Christian also. Part of this legacy of having the goodness and mercy follow us all the days of our life is that means then we are free to share that with other people, and that we are to use that to be good and kind and loving and merciful to others, so that they see Jesus in us. They see the shepherd when we become a shepherd ourselves. You know? And the passage ends, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Here, this word house is kind of like when we talked about the word table. There's a lot of ways, a lot of levels at which we can understand this word house. I think it's more than just a church building. It's not like saying I'm going to be able to be in church for the rest of my life. It's not that kind of house. It's more, it could be also a picture of our heavenly home, that we will dwell in the house of God forever, meaning at our death we will go to be with him and we'll be with him for eternity. Happy and joyful and, just really experience the fullness of that love that he has. But I think it's more than that. While we're on earth, dwelling in the house of the Lord forever really means being part of his family. This is the kind of house, like the house of Anderson or the house of Smith or the house of Jones. It's a family. We're in God's family. And the reason I say that is because we're a member of his flock. His flock. He's leading us. We're in his flock. That's our home, is with Jesus. And we, as sheep, if we're smart and know who the good shepherd is, we really don't want to be in any other house. It's not like here on earth where we're constantly wishing we were part of that group, or wishing I had this home, or wishing I could be in that group. A sheep who knows his shepherd is really content to be in that flock and no other flock. He shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That also means that there's not going to come a time that Jesus will say, you know what, you're not really that great. Why don't you leave and go somewhere else? No, it's not going to happen. We get to dwell with him forever, which is phenomenal. We're not going to lose our faith here on earth, and we're not going to lose our salvation in heaven. That's assured. It's a sure thing. Mostly because we didn't do anything to deserve it, and therefore we can't lose it. The only way you could lose it really would be to totally reject God and walk away. But losing it, no, it's yours forever. It's yours forever. And even if you rejected God for a season, you still could repent and turn to him, and you would still be accepted into the flock. So that's the nature of the Christian faith, is that we don't have to earn a good shepherd. We are just fortunate enough to have one. And that's his love and mercy that draws us into his flock. There's a piece in the book that I was referring to that is a good ending to this. Remember, this book is called A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23 by W. Philip Keller. And towards the end of the book, he talks about this last little bit of verse, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So let me read a couple of paragraphs of what he writes. There is another beautiful and final sense in which the psalmist was speaking of us as sheep. It is brought out clearly in the Amplified Bible, where the meaning of the last phrase is, I will dwell in the presence of the Lord forever. My personal conviction is that this is the most significant sentiment that David had in his heart as he ended this hymn of praise to divine diligence. Not only do we get the idea of an ever-present shepherd on the scene, but also the concept that the sheep wants to be in full view of his owner at all times. This theme has run through all our studies. It is the alertness, the awareness, the diligence of a never tiring master that alone assures the sheep of excellent care. And from the sheep's standpoint, it's knowing that the shepherd is there. It's the constant awareness of his presence nearby that automatically eliminates most of the difficulties and dangers, while at the same time providing a sense of security and serenity. It is the sheep owner's presence that guarantees there will be no lack of any sort. There will be abundant green pastures. There will be still, clean waters. There will be new paths into fresh fields. There will be safe summers on the high tablelands. There will be freedom from fear. There will be antidotes for flies and disease and parasites. There will be quietness and contentment. In our Christian lives and experience, precisely the same idea and principle applies. For when all is said and done on the subject of a successful Christian walk, it can be summed up in one sentence: live ever aware of God's presence. I think that's a beautiful thought. Live ever aware of God's presence. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord, or be in his presence forever. We are so blessed to have a shepherd like our God. And this is what David has really been saying through the whole psalm is, I'm like your sheep, Lord, and you are the best shepherd ever. You give me everything I could ever need and will ever need. It is a beautiful psalm. The thoughts are beautiful, the images are beautiful, and just the very writing itself is beautiful. It warms our hearts and makes us remember the wonderful attributes of our God. So I hope you have enjoyed some of the images and things we've talked about in Psalm 23, and maybe it gave you a little different way of looking at it. I know the book really helped me to look a little bit differently at it. And what was great about the book, if you get this edition, is that it is filled with absolutely beautiful photographs of different sheep and beautiful pictures of this is your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So as I'm going through here, I'm not only getting beautiful words, I'm getting beautiful images also. So this one is a beautiful picture. He restores my soul. Gorgeous, isn't it? So it's a really nice book. And we're done with this psalm. I'm pretty sure I've done 6 psalms. I have one more psalm to go. And then I'll be on to another topic maybe. I don't know. I have to think about it. Again, if you have any suggestions, text me or email me. Until then, have a day where you are followed with goodness and mercy and that you dwell in God's presence. Have that kind of a day. Bye-bye.